The Iranians thought they held the keys. They thought they had the trump card. They thought their control of the Strait of Hormuz, which they said they would control perpetually from now on, permanent thing. Everybody going through the strait would have to have their permission and pay a toll. And they thought this would be irreversible. And due to this and some other reasons of control over the uh, Strait of Hormuz and outlasting Trump politically, they thought they really had all the cards. And then they just got the Trump card played on them. But Iran isn't really the biggest loser in this. There is someone else. There's another country that's going to be in a far bigger bind than Iran. So what happened? Well, Iran just got schooled by Trump. Because indeed, in the Strait of Hormuz, Iran can make for some mayhem. But the United States Navy is stronger and it's just outside the Strait of Hormuz, and Trump just called a blockade. And it's going to take effect at 10, I believe, 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning. Now, this is actually a very brilliant move. It's something I suggested earlier that Trump might try, and it may be the best move of all that he could have. Hey, we got a super chat right off the bat, and thank you very much, Carrie. And I just spent an evening with Carrie and Eddie, and they treated me to a great dinner tonight, this evening, and a nice tour of a beautiful canyon, not the Grand Canyon, the Chevelon Canyon here in Arizona, just about 20 miles from the Meteor Crater. Beautiful place. So thank you for the super chat. Right off the bat. Awesome. So we started the night out really good here. Anyway, so my friends, the case is that what makes this so brilliant is that this is a total control of everything that comes in and out of the Strait of Hormuz by the United States. Now, there might be some control inside the strait, but basically Trump said, hey, anybody that pays a toll to Iran does not come through. Anybody. And so this takes a lot of the steam out of the Iranian regime. Not only that, this offers to totally shut down the Iranian economy. Because Iran, is still selling oil. They've been selling through Cargill to mostly China because their oil has been sanctioned. And China's been getting that oil at a steep discount rate. Now, all at once, that goes bye-bye. But in Iran, what this means is this has been the primary remaining leg of revenue for the Iranian regime. And already a lot of the soldiers haven't been paid for months. So suddenly, a lot of soldiers not getting paid. Things are bad at home due to all the bombing, and they're actually having a lot of defections. So much so that Iran has already been recruiting 12-year-olds to serve in their military. Namely in checkpoints and things like that to allow the troops to go do what troops normally do the most. But Iran is suffering in some ways that we really haven't seen. That's not been talked about much, or this wouldn't be happening. So this is a interesting development because the Iranian regime will have anything left to run on. The economy will just implode. And this might give power to the revolutionaries there, excuse me, the protesters, because the original Iranian regime still calls themselves revolutionaries. So I got to be careful how I phrase this. But to the protesters, this may give them more power and leverage to actually overthrow a regime that's probably going to fall anyway. Without money, they don't have much going for them. And so this could be a big game, but this isn't the biggest game changer. Oh, no, oh, no. This isn't the biggest game changer at all. Far from it. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But so what's happening here is that I've heard some other channels. Oh, well, look, all the boats are turning around. This is terrible. Blah, 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 blah. You know where they're going? To the Gulf of America. Suddenly U.S. oil sales exports are skyrocketing because instead of going to the Persian Gulf, they're coming here. Now, Saudi Arabia is able to rechannel a fair bit of their oil through an overland pipeline they put into the Red Sea. It doesn't carry the full percentage of their oil, but a fair bit. Um, and so you can bet the other Gulf Coast states are going to be looking for other ways to get their oil out too. Oman and United Arab Emirates have been looking at have some other pipelines that's been in the work, and they're even thinking long terms of putting in a canal to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran has become a pariah because what happened in these negotiations? Basically, Iran stated that, hey, we're willing to be pummeled to pieces if it enables us to keep the means to build a nuclear bomb. Let's be clear about it. Now, a lot of people, kind of sweep that aside. No, if you're enriching, if you really stick the idea you got to enrich uranium to 60%, and that's where they had it, and then have the ability, you still have the ability to enrich uranium, you're on a program to build a bomb. There is no other reason to have that kind of uranium. And apparently they already had enough to build 10 to 11 different nuclear bombs from the uranium. They already had enriched to 60%. It's just a small increment to get it from there to the 90%. They've already crossed the hurdle of the worst part of the processing. So what Iran has basically told the whole world is we're not, what did Donald Trump and Vance say? They said, hey, we this is our main point of all the other points. This is our main point is we want you to stop this enrichment. We want you to have the tools to make a bomb. There's a lot of other countries that have nuclear power plants that let the processing for their nuclear fuel be done elsewhere. And they're not getting nuclear fuel enriched anywhere near even to 20%, nowhere near 60%. There is no justification to enrich that much fuel to 60% unless you desire the ability to build a bomb. And that's what it boils down to. And you just can't discount that. You can't argue it away. And basically, Iran just said to the whole world when they refused this, last minute negotiation that, hey, we're going to do it. We're going to stick with it. We're not giving up for anything. We're willing to be pummeled to pieces, to rubble, if we can somehow maintain our ability to build a bomb. Because building a bomb is the most important thing to the Iranian regime. That's what they just told the world. And so they're becoming a pariah. They've already become a pariah throughout the Mideast by attacking countries throughout the Mideast. Everybody, they've been hitting everybody. And furthermore, now that they've shown that they got a missile that can reach all of Europe, Europe has suddenly got attention pointed at them too. Oh, shoot. They tell us their missiles are only good for 2,000 kilometers. They lied to us. Now we know they're good for 4,000 kilometers. So Iran is really showing their cards. And the cards that they gotten and what they played, what they shown, are some really ugly, stinking cards that nobody appreciates, except for maybe Russia and China, especially China. So this is what's happening, my friends. And the United States is sitting there pretty. Now, Donald Trump, in terms of, Iran coming back to make a deal, he says, I don't care. So he's just like disinterested. Maybe this is what the Trump administration has been looking for all along, because shutting down the Gulf of Hormuz has a bigger objective. Could this have been an objective all along? Could this have been the role play? Because our biggest strategic adversary in the world, our biggest existential threat, comes not from Iran. I've always said it. It comes from China. Now, see, by shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, we may not have to put boots on the ground to take Carg Island. Carg Island becomes irrelevant unless we just decide to take it, and they might do that. We might put boots on the ground to go after that nuclear material because both Netanyahu and Hegseth said they would do it. And we do know that the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit is there, and the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit is on the way. So, and then 82nd Airborne is there, and more 82nd Airborne and other airborne units could arrive within 18 hours of notice. They could be there really fast. So that could be ramped up. That's not something we'd want to see. that might be something that Trump would actually attack more power plants and things before he put those troops in, because it would deny command and control capability inside of Iran for the IRGC forces, Iranian military, which is two different things, and even the Basij component of the IRGC to be able to operate, even to launch drones, because if you don't have power, you don't have the wherewithal to run things and communicate. So this could be something they would do before they put boots on the ground inside of Iran for a special operation like that. Let's hope. I hope that don't have to come to pass, but it could. So what we do know is that we're still in the ceasefire, technically. Hey Eddie, how you doing, buddy? We're still technically in the ceasefire, and the ceasefire uh, actually it's been tested, of course. It might cease to exist. But hey, we just sent minesweepers into the Gulf, into the Strait of Hormuz. Minesweepers. And Iran come out and says, we're going to give you immediate warning. You got to get out. We said no military vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. We're not going to permit it. Leave immediately. This is your final warning. Leave right now. And what do our guys do? Yeah. They says, hey, we're not firing on you. We're not a threat to you. We're just clearing out these mines up in the Strait of Hormuz. We're following the orders of our government. And they just proceeded to do their job and didn't get attacked. Suddenly, Iran is beginning to look kind of like a toothless tiger, like a sock puppet tiger, more and more. But they do have drones, yeah, so why aren't they firing them? Why aren't they firing their missiles? Well, we got a lot of missiles there. Are they afraid of the repercussions? Or is the desertions in their forces too high? Why did they make a threat and not follow through with it? Maybe they don't want to violate ceasefire yet. Maybe they know if they do, then Trump is going to unleash everything on them like he promised he would do. That's a good question. What held them back? Now, some of the other YouTube channels out there have been just crying, oh my gosh, Trump said he sunk their Navy. They're making these threats, blah, 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 blah. I've been hearing that kind of stuff. You know what? We did sink 155 of their vessels. Their main naval vessels are sunk. What Iran has left is their little fast boats. No, we didn't sink all of them. They still have a lot of those. And we know that. The fast boats could be used to launch attacks. Some of them do carry missiles. They can lay mines. This is all true. But also, those fast boats are great targets for A-10 warthogs. A-10 warthogs love to eat fast boats. So as soon as they show their cover, they might. I don't know if I'm back in a live stream. Guess I am. I was preparing a live stream. All right, I got a message just preparing the live stream. You guys, Zoom crashed. My Zoom crashed, but the reason Zoom is crashing is not Zoom. It's this computer. Oh Lord, this computer's terrible. The newest, most expensive computer I've ever bought is garbage. Most powerful computer I've ever owned. It's garbage. I'm going to turn it back in. The problem is, I got another little laptop that I used to use. It just barely gets along because it's got just a little bit of memory, and I got a desktop, a tower It's got a lot of disk space, but it don't have any RAM memory to speak of. But that's what I used to use, and that's what I will turn back using as soon as I get them back. They're both turned in. I'm gonna turn this computer back in and try to get a refund for it. This it's gonna get to the point I can't even use it. It's get really bad. Still tells me it's preparing live stream, but I see myself live there. I'm gonna have to reshare. I got to reshare this to get it back up. Oh, I haven't shared anything yet. Okay. I haven't started sharing pages yet. Alrighty, guys. So sorry about that. No sound. Uh, hang on. God, come on. You can hear me? You hear me now? Okay. All right. All right. All right. Jeez. Okay. There's also a delay. Y'all might not hear me in time I see no sound. You might have been hearing me for 5 minutes. I don't know because there's a delay, and when things appear in text, and I see it and what I'm putting out. Yeah, there's a big delay here. It still says preparing live stream up here on top of my Zoom. The Zoom crashed. The Zoom crashed because this computer is a piece of junk. It's not Zoom. I'm having problems with everything on this computer. Everything. But right now, my tower is in a shop. My other laptop, I thought I'd have had it back already, but the parts didn't come in. They ordered parts for it, and I should have had it back already, but the part didn't come in. So bear with me, guys. Uh, yeah, there actually is a delay. So, hello, GG. Good to see everybody in the house. Sorry about that. Um, this can happen. This thing can just be failing over and over and over and over. My computer runs hot. I got it under 70 degrees in here, and she's still running hot on me. Um, and so what I'm doing is I'm swabbing it with alcohol to try to cool it off. And that works somewhat, but not great and wonderful. It's just a terrible machine. Terrible machine. Too much power and too small of a chassis. I'm wiping the bottom and the back of it off. That's where it gets really hot. And I'm trying to keep it propped up on some wires, give the vents on the bottom more breathing room, but it don't solve everything. It don't keep it from heating up. Still gets hot. Yeah, it's a piece of junk. Piece of junk. Anyway, all right, enough of that. People in the morning watching this don't want to hear about my computer being a piece of junk. They want to hear the news. So, fortunately, when that happens, I don't even know where I was at when it crashed, what I was saying. So I've got to just kind of pick up and go best I can. All right, guys. So here's the deal. The real loser here is China. Why? Because two reasons. One, China was getting tons of super cheap oil from both Iran and Venezuela because those countries were sanctioned and weren't supposed to be able to sell their oil anywhere. So they were selling through dark fleets and other things, shadow fleets, selling their oil at a highly discounted rate to China. And China's been buying this discounted rate oil for years, and it's enabled them to be a lot more competitive. And suddenly, they're not only not getting that, and suddenly China's having to pay world prices for oil now, which is driving up their manufacturing costs, something like 20%. Suddenly, Chinese manufacturers claim they got to charge 20% more. So it's like a tariff on China, but it's bigger than that because not only they got to pay more, they may not be getting anything. We can just cut them off. The United States, through control of the Gulf of Hormuz, through what we are producing and selling, and exporting, and through Venezuela and other sources. My understanding is that something like 80% of the world's petroleum. Now, North Sea, Norway produces a lot, but that's mostly used in Europe. Uh, Great Britain, United Kingdom, has access to all kinds of oil reserves or places they could drill, just like Norway, but they don't do it because of their environmental policies. And so their new Green Deal aspects has left them on wind power and solar, which really isn't all that great up there. And they're suffering heavily, like we would be if we had the new Green Deal in effect here in the United States. Like some people will try to throw it back in if their party gets back in office, like AOC, who really thinks the new Green Deal is the way to go. So, my friends, let's hope they don't get back in power. But anyway, some things I was telling you, some of these other channels are really harping on, the idea that, look, the boats are turning around, to Strait of Hormuz is horrible. There's boats going here to the Gulf of America. They're not telling you the full picture. And they're also, telling you, well, look at the Iranians are threatening our boats. Yeah, they did, but nothing happened. We sunk their navy. Well, we did, but not the fast boats. But then again, the fast boats are subject to being turned into Swiss cheese by the A-10 warthogs. So there may be something that's going down. There's a whole lot of air traffic going to the Middle East right now. A whole lot in the United States. So Trump's got something up his sleeve. He's got something bigger, something far bigger, apparently. But if you can control what's coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, you got him. You got him by the cojones. Honestly, I mean, that's the ultimate control card. China. China is checkmated, essentially, big time. They need energy. They need lots of it, and they need it cheap. They're not going to get cheap anymore. That day is over. But just they need to get it. And the fact of the matter is, they are subject to just being cut off. What they do to us, rare earth minerals, they try to cut us off. Oh, tit for tat. I think they need energy more than we need rare earth. We both need both. But, maybe Trump will now reopen up and go negotiate with Xi Jinping. He canceled his tour over there, and maybe this is why. So suddenly, maybe we got a bigger hand to play against China in negotiations, but it may also take the steam out of China's endeavor to take Taiwan, because a naval operation like that requires a lot of oil. Sure, they got some reserves, but the number of ships they would have to operate, they're liable to run through all that, and they want to use their last drop of reserves fighting a war that may not end as fast as they had hoped, because they can look over and see what happened in Ukraine. Ukraine should have been easy to invade. Flat land, all the way from Russia. Flat open land. No landing forces required. Taiwan, you got to cross the Strait of Taiwan, and it's like 100 miles. And you got to, once you get there, you only got certain landing areas, and it's a very mountainous country, unlike Ukraine. So Taiwan is not an easy target by any stretch of the imagination. So China's probably got to refigure their calculus for fuel. So this could impact that. So Trump really has maybe played the ultimate Trump card here, and what he's done to take out the Strait of Hormuz and put it under American control. How long it'll stay that way, I don't know. But there's my Zoom still says it's preparing the live stream, which is really disconcerting to me. It's like, okay, well, if I was just looking at that, I would think we weren't running live. So it's kind of weird. Let me fill this laptop. Yeah, she's getting hot again. No delay. There is a delay. That's when I ask y'all questions. It's a while before I start seeing y'all's replies to it. Usually. That's why I say there's usually a delay here. Something special when I'm using this computer. It's not as bad when I use other computers. It might not seem like a delay to y'all usually, but I usually notice quite a delay. So, in any event, That's kind of the metric of it. China, oh, there's another aspect of this. Now that everybody's coming to the United States to buy petrol, the petrodollar seems to be pretty secure. And given that this whole thing with Iran has thrown the other Gulf states more in the United States' corner, now the petrodollar is probably secure for now. So that will strengthen the dollar. It's going to hurt the yuan. And if the petrodollar is secure, that will help mitigate inflation in the United States, even though the part that comes from the price of fuel prices will be up for a while until this resolves itself in the Strait of Hormuz. Fuel prices will be up, and it will drive up the cost of other things. You can bet on that. There's going to be food prices that will be especially impacted. I've mentioned this to you guys in the past, and that's something that's already baked in. But United States will be making a lot of money that will from the petrol. You can bet there'll be a lot more drilling going on here in the United States, so there'll be more jobs from that kind of stuff. So it's not all bad. For the United States, it may be a net good. Some people were complaining about the prices, and then Trump basically replied, says, what do you think would happen if a couple of nukes were dropped in the United States? You think that would be a lot more catastrophic? So, he tried to paint this whole thing. And of course, a lot of people want to discount that, but why else is China, Iran is not a normal nation. They don't think normally like everybody else. They don't have the same reservations. They've been exporting terrorism quite a bit, and they've been prone to attacking. And if you don't believe that, go to Tanzania, which you can call Tanzania, and go to Kenya and look what happened to the U.S. embassies there several years ago that were blown up. Yeah, they have attacked us. Embassies are considered sovereign territory of the United States. A lot of people don't realize that, but they blew them to smithereens, basically. Big explosions. So you can't discount them. You can't. Yeah, we're forcing the world to buy our petroleum. I'll show you the maps in a little bit. That's a win for the United States. And that's why Trump said, maybe that's the reason Trump says, I don't care if they want to negotiate now. It's like he's lost interest. It's like, okay, maybe we got the ultimate Trump card here. Just keep the Strait of Hormuz closed forever. Just close it down. Just shut it off. Okay, that's done. Done deal. You're gone. The United States could profit immeasurably from that. So some articles come out, oh, European countries don't want to do this, do that. Yeah. They want to not use so much oil. Yeah, right. Look at Great Britain today. They're hurting because they went with their version of the New Green Deal. Norway's doing good. They drill. But Great Britain, the United Kingdom, the likes of Starmer been in charge. Guys, if we get anybody here from Great Britain, I'm sure we do. From, I should say the United Kingdom. I keep saying Great Britain. It's the United Kingdom. You need to. I would not be supporting Starmer. I'll put it that way. But I do know a lot of you guys. There's a lot of people in Europe that are trying to get rid of these globalist left-leaning leaders they've had that have been trying to sell their countries down the road, and hope they have success with that. Rename the Strait of America. Rename the Strait of Hormuz to the Strait of America. There you go. That'd be the ultimate insult to Iran. Was this been the Persian Gulf? Just rename that Gulf. We already got a Gulf of America. You can rename the Strait or rename the Persian Gulf too with something else. the Trump Gulf. That would really frost Iran. The Gulf of Trump. or Saudi or somebody else, All righty, so that would frost them good. All righty, so let's look at some of the news articles real fast. We're going to try to get through the news. If my Zoom don't crash or something else don't happen here real quick, I do want to try. Shoot, now the stuff don't want to change pages. Yeah. Come on, cut that out. got stuff doing weird things to me here. Stupid computer. All right, bear with me here a second. We're going to see if we can survive. Switching to some articles here. All righty. And again, guys, you can help yourself by helping me, and or help me by helping yourself. How you going to look at it? Because I've been telling you that for some time that you get a. I need to do some more videos on this topic. We got. There's so much material out there. There is so much material on contamination in products, chemicals, heavy metals, glass, plastic pieces of metal. The recalls have been crazy, but they don't recall. They'll recall if they find glass and metal pieces, but they don't recall it for the chemicals because they put that stuff in intentionally. And the heavy metals. I mean, you got toothpaste. We've already discovered that over 90% of the toothpaste in the world has heavy metals. 90%. Even the ones they make for kids, even the ones that are labeled as health, the Himalayan blah blah toothpaste. I had a friend tell me, oh my gosh, I used that. I saw your video. It's like, yeah, well, there it is. I've showed y'all guys the data, the raw data on this stuff from the reports, and it is horrendous. And some of the chemicals aren't even on the label because it's the way they're made. They don't have to label it, supposedly. And the chemicals are byproducts of the processing, like all the stuff that's in your dish detergent. So don't think everything's got a label on it. And another thing that's been exempted from labels is glyphosate. For some reason, the lobbyists got it where they wouldn't have to tell you if stuff was GMO or if it had glyphosate in it. So, I would say when you're buying this stuff, the big problem is that all these different brands might have started out as good brands. A lot of them have had their formulations changed significantly, like an Oreo cookie, for example. But anyway, these companies, over 550 brands, are controlled by 12 companies. And what you're getting from is a no good. And the worst thing yet is those companies are having controlling interest in them, owned by the three big asset management companies, that include the biggest one, BlackRock, with Larry Fink running it, who also now runs the World Economic Forum. And if you go to the World Economic Forum and look at their page of their partnership page, go find that. I've showed it to you in the past. And it's got all these big companies in it, and it tells you that's who pays for the dreams of those who come to you and say, you'll have no privacy, you'll own nothing, and you'll be happy. Yeah, right. Anyway, so every time you buy those products, you're voting for that, and you're buying stuff that's bad for you. But I come up with a way to switch away from it. Switchwithgreg.com. This is the website I set up. Switchwithgreg.com. A family-owned company. We got you in contact with a family-owned company right here in the United States of America with over 400, 500, something like that, products available that are non-toxic. There's no chemicals in them. They test them extensively for consumer safety, and you're supporting jobs right here in America because it's all made here. That's a good thing. Family-owned company, no House of Klaus anywhere in that lineup because it's family-owned. Anyway, so yeah, just go to switchwithgreg.com and fill out that form. I'm already switching away from the thing here. Fill out this form up here, submit it. It just comes straight to me, and an assistant who's helping me, named Lisa, is a member of the community. She'll bring you on board. Anyway, all that said, let's go look at the news here. What's in the news here? That's not what I wanted to show you. So the ceasefire's holding. But, basically come out and he says he's blockading the Strait of Hormuz, and it's considered a forceful response. And supposedly Iran has issued dire warnings. Yeah, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Iran warned Sunday that military vessels approaching the Strait of Hormuz would be in violation of the fragile ceasefire. And then they went ahead and told the ones that were going in doing the mining, trying to clear the mines. I hate these ads. I get my articles mixed up. Oh, yeah, right. I guess I did. This is your last warning. This is your last warning. Turn around, turn around. What do American ships do? Right on doing what they was doing. They just ignored them. Just ignored them. Like I said, Iran's got the fast boats. That's what this article's pointing out. Yeah, okay. So what? They hadn't used them. Uh, so we got starting Monday morning, the blockade, and what? There's something else here. Was this not the article I'm looking for? Maybe not. Anyway, so basically, Trump had come out and said, "Hey, where is it at?" It's one of these articles. Trump says, "Hey, I don't care. You know, I don't. Brandon wants to negotiate. I don't care. He's just not interested anymore." So yeah, it's going to be a big task to maintain the blockade. It's probably going to take a couple, according to retired Admiral James Stradivarius. It's going to take a couple of aircraft carriers. We've already got a couple of aircraft carriers. We actually got three in the region. Plus, we got the two amphibious assault ships. Together, they probably could be counted as an aircraft carrier. Or since they can actually get in closer, they probably do count as an aircraft carrier because uh, we're more willing to take a risk with the cheaper assault ships, and they carry quite a few F-35s, and they can get in a lot closer than our big aircraft carriers that we're afraid of getting taken out. And that means that the sortie missions of the F-35s and helicopters and other aircraft from those amphibious assault ships can spend more time on mission and less time en route mobilization to and from the combat zone, which in the case of the big aircraft carriers, that's going to be the big chunk, the operation time, mission operation time. But you can get these guys in close, and most of their time can be providing coverage almost full time with their aircraft. So it's a big game changer. So one of these small aircraft carriers operationally may be better than the big ones. So I really think we need more of these assault ships than the big aircraft carriers. Big aircraft carriers are really expensive. They're really big targets, especially when you start running out of the Aegis missiles, the SM threes and twos and sixes. The smaller ones are just a lot more nimble. They're harder to hit. I just think you're more willing to take a risk with them because they're cheaper. Um, Maybe that's the way we should be going, building more smaller things. And we got to do more drones, big time. Because that's where warfare is heading. It's drones and AI and robotics. That's where we need to refocus. So, and this article says that Trump calls Iran's bluff brilliantly. Brilliant move. I second that. It is a very brilliant move. Said Iran's negotiators refused to satisfy America's demand on Saturday, the no nuke deal. So what did Trump do? They thought he'd blink, and instead he played it right back at them. Nelson his own blockade. Are you on a blockade? Their blockade's nothing. Bill blockade. You talking to me? Nah. Anyway, here's a funny video. I gotta be careful. I can't play the whole thing because whoever made this video put up some wordy words in there, but let's see if I can stop where it reaches there. But it's kind of funny. I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. We can start it out at least.
Alaikum, bitches. This is your
Oops.
new Ayatollah speaking. Well, if you think about it, I'm more like your new I told you. Because I told you this would happen if you kept fucking around.
I didn't want to get that part. I let it go too far. Sorry, guys. Pardon me. I thought that was a little later in there. But anyway, I'll stop that video. My apologies. I thought it was a little bit further in there. All right. So there's this new traffic here. We've got, actually, this is going pretty fast on my phone. That's interesting. Let me show you something. If I put up our chat room, it ain't even got me showing you the articles yet. Isn't it crazy? Isn't that crazy? Anyway, look at this, guys. Here we are. It is showing all the traffic. This is the Gulf of America, packed with super tankers racing to load up on U.S. oil. Record exports. Global energy demand is shifting directly to America. Economic boom incoming. Paying attention. Wow, guys, but there they are. The ship, they're coming in. There's another view. Gulf of America looks like Walmart on Black Friday. They are coming in from everywhere. And the global map shows it too. Check this out, guys. There they are. That was funny. Looks like Walmart on Black Friday. I love it. So, it's Trump may just decide, hey, I don't need to open up Strait of Hormuz. We don't really need it. We don't use it. Come to American bowl. Now, there's still some worried about sleeper cells striking in the United States. I had thought maybe the sleeper cells would hold off because they were hoping that this war would lead to the political defeat of Donald Trump, well, at least his party in the midterms. But Donald Trump doesn't seem to care much about that. He just seems to, he's focused on doing a job in Iran. And since he's got apparently the upper hand now, it looks like, maybe, just maybe, it won't be so negative on him election wise. If he were to turn, we got people, and there's YouTubers that used to be more on the conservative side that, they give mixed messages. That they're, if he goes in and puts boots on the ground or furthers the war, they're going to get mad. But if he backs out, they're going to call him a coward. Look, America's losing. I'm hearing the same, both sides from some channel, both messages. Like Black, oh shit, what's his name? Anyway, some of the channels I used to, think was pretty good channels. I'm hearing them say, put out both messages simultaneously. I'm like, that's incoherent. You're acting like a Democrat. So I'm losing faith in some of the channels I used to watch. It's not really, but Victor David Hanson has done an analysis of a lot of these channels and a lot of the journalists that have turned, and he said they're doing it for clickbait. He says they're just doing it to get more views. But if in their quest to get more views, they lead to the new Green Deal coming back and the borders getting thrown wide open and fentanyl pouring on our streets and killing 70,000 Americans a year, shame on them. Blood on their hands. Really. So you know what? Some of these channels I used to like, I don't like them no more. They're big channels. Big channels. If you're bringing fentanyl back in this country because you're being a wuss because you want more clicks and views, then get the heck out of here. I don't want to hear from you. I'm quitting watching several of them. I'm just giving up on them. It's not really, you won't view so much, you're willing to do that. But really, I've seen them play both sides. It's like, cartoon I put up about liberals, but the liberals aren't the only ones doing it. It's like, oh my gosh, Trump's gonna blow up the whole thing. He's gonna blow it all up. He's gonna blow it. And then, they hear another sort and they go, oh, taco, taco, taco. No, I'm hearing the same message from a lot of them, but I'm getting up from people that was formerly on our side too. So, okay, I posted something on Facebook that effect, and all the liberals, I just ranted about it. But no, I've seen the post from them. I'm seeing the coverage from YouTubers, even people, like I said, it used to be on our side. So you know what? I'm done with them. I don't need to hear that. Seriously. Now, if you think that's where that ought to be, you got to pick one or the other. You can't be one way or pick a course. What do you think needs to happen? And, quit being so wussy about it. So I think really and truly, we started this job. We need to finish it. We need to finish it in the quickest, best way possible. But we need to, essentially what we need is a real regime change in Iran. And to get that, I say we still got to arm the locals, the protesters, because they need their country back. That's where I'm coming from. Now, sleeper cells may strike in this country. That is a risk. That is a risk. I just played it down a little bit, saying I thought the reason they wasn't doing it is because they didn't want to turn the country against them in this country, because they still think that they may hold sway in the midterms. But if they begin to think that's not the case, or the whole regime is falling apart, these sleeper cells may activate yet. And what I would tell you guys is really pray against it, pray against them. Because we got various so-called experts still out here talking about it and still saying this could happen. And this is somebody speaking to LAPD about it here in this case. That's what this article's on. So it's still a risk. It's still a threat. Now, I've read recently there's 1,000 of them up in Canada. Trump says, well, I got an eye on them. We know who they are, and we're watching them. And what I want to why you're not deporting them. Just get them out. If you know who they are, get them out of the country. So let's hope they are watching them at least. Maybe they want to be able to charge them with crimes. So maybe the only way they can get them out is charge them with crimes. All these people trying to stop us from deporting people that are causing problems. And like I said, Trump says, hey, let them drop a couple of nuclear bombs on us, and you're going to see something much worse than the economic effects we're having today. It's hard to argue with that. So now there's a lot of Iranian Americans who are against the regime over there. And one of the things they're saying, so we just deported some people, some family members of regime officers. We discovered they were here living large. And Iranians living here in America, they say, hey, you haven't got enough of them. There's a lot more of them here. You need to get a lot more of these guys out, because they're living over here large and they're causing problems. Some of them are, sponsoring the other side. Well, what's going on my what happened to my screen? Oh my gosh, everything on this computer just going nuts. Anyway, let's get through this quick before my computer crashes. Turkey is now Turkey. We're changing topics here a little bit. Turkey is getting to be an issue. Turkey, likes to play both sides. They played, they bought Russian S-400 missiles. Supposed to be a NATO member, but Turkey looks after Turkey. What Turkey is, how they treat their own people, the Armenians, how they treat the Kurds is reprehensible. Turkey, Erdogan has great dreams of being the dominant Arab nation, or excuse me, not Arab, they're not Arabs, dominant Muslim nation in the world, much like they had back in the Ottoman Empire days. He's got dreams of return to the Ottoman Empire, kind of like Macaroni in France. Like to see some Napoleonic thing, I believe. So, but one of the things they've done is, Europe tried to basically pay them, or try to get them to stop sending immigrants from the Mideast into Europe. And Turkey basically says, well, if you pay us, you got to pay us money to stop this. And so European countries are crying extortion about it. So there's a lot of stress going on within NATO. And Turkey has never, since Erdogan took over, been a good NATO partner nation. So Turkey has been suspect ever since Erdogan took over. Previously, Turkey was a strong partner in NATO. They used to be more secular. Turkey was good friends with Israel for a long time. They were pretty tight with each other. Now it's the opposite. So for whatever it's worth, there may be more division there to come. I did talk about the great division within the Mideast, where we were hoping to use the Kurds to assist with taking care of business in Iran. But the Kurds have been threatened by Turkey, because they're afraid that if they can carve out a state, an independent state in Iran, that they would revolt inside of Turkey too, because they're trying to hold these people against their will. And I've always said everybody should have the right of self-determination. Nobody should be held in a country, no region, no people against their will. That's my 2 cents on that. Take it or leave it. But anyway, I'm an Iraq war veteran and a DONY. DONY want our people dying for Israel. Well, I'm not, our biggest threat is China. I agree with that. But I'm just telling you that Erdogan is a problem in and of himself for NATO. Personally, I think we should pull out of NATO. I've always said that, and maybe we will. I support us getting the heck out of NATO and leaving Europe to this. But anyway, yeah, I almost got sent to Iran myself back when I was in the Army. All my stuff was packed. Why is this doing this? And it hit the refresh page. Okay, not showing the land masses. And again, it's probably this computer. Well, there's some earthquakes going on. Apparently, there's a lot of them going on right out here in the western side of the Juan de Fuca plate. Let's go in closer. Look at all the earthquake activity right here. So this could be volcanic in origin. There could be some kind of eruption. Oh, there comes the map. Look at all these earthquakes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 of them. There's maybe 6 that got circles. And yeah, that's at least 6 of them right there that are over 2.5 in magnitude within the last 24 hours. So we do know that there's an undersea volcano out there that's been brewing up. So that might be related. That's a lot of earthquakes all at once in one discrete spot. So something may be brewing. We've had some good ones over here in the Aleutians. There's a powerful one right there. 5.1 and King Cove, Alaska. The Kamchatka Peninsula does a lot of shaking. A 5.1, a 5.0 there. A couple other ones in Japan. We got one down. Was this Marina Islands? No, Guam. Okay. Guam. I should have known as Guam, but we had one right next to that Marina Islands yesterday. All righty. So nothing all that extraordinary in earthquakes. Space weather. No big sunspots. All quiet for now, according to this, for space weather, which is good. We got a morning comet, pan stars, increase almost double brightness due to its close proximity to the sun. Now this is picking it up with a camera. I don't know if you can see. There's nothing there that says you can see it with your naked eye yet. Maybe you'll be able to. Asteroids, we've got a close approach coming up tomorrow. 70% of the way to the moon, though, between the Earth and the moon. 20-meter wide asteroid, nothing to worry about. So there's nothing that we know of to worry about. And the list of the things coming up is getting kind of short. So but we've been seeing a lot of bolides recently, and that's had some people worried. The increase in bolide count. Okay, that's space weather for today. Stop and share. And I'm going to open the chat room up here and go through it real quick and see what folks are saying in here. Yeah, I want to thank Kerry for the donation tonight for the super chat. Froze up. Yeah, I know it froze up. Somebody's asking, is okay? That's just a stupid computer I got here. Michael Yates, hey mate, you from down under? Clove Candy, that's a good one. Wow, I tuned in and he was sitting still. Yeah, I got some computer issues here. Hopefully we can get that squared away sometime in a week. Kelly Prepper, why don't you just use the built-in YouTube to broadcast? It don't work as well unless they've upgraded it. I tried it way back. The problem is my computer. That's the big problem. Whoop, I just skipped a bunch of stuff here. Trying to scroll down and it just jumped. I hate it when it does that. I got to scroll back up to try to get some idea what I missed scrolling. Sometimes I scroll, it'll go, whoop, and I'm just trying to scroll a little bit by little bit. It'll just jump. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Everything new is junk. That's true. That's true. It's like his DJI mics I bought. Supposed to be good for 6 hours. They're they can barely make it three. Barely make it 3 hours. That's why I'm not even using one right now. I got them in a box. I've just about quit using them. They're aggravating. Their battery runs out. They're just a pain to set up. There they are. They're in a box. I'm not using them. I spent a lot of money on these things. I consider them junk. Just like this computer, junk. My camera I'm using, it ain't that great either. Uh, it's like everything I've bought lately, junk, junk, junk. Trump is Baghdad Bob. What do you mean by that? Baghdad Bob, and what lies are you tired of hearing? All right, speak up. Don't speak in generalities. Be specific. Because anybody, oh, somebody just always lies. I don't want to hear that. If you can't do any better than that, just don't even talk. Be specific, because that's easy. That's cheap. That's from the peanut gallery. If you got a specific problem, say it. Don't just blah blah blah. That is meaningless. That's got no meaning at all. Because people do it all the time. It don't mean jack diddle. You got something specific you want to say it. Don't just talk in such vague generalities. It's meaningless. Be specific. All politicians lie, by the way. Well, Classy, how you doing? What is this thing you shared here? Mobile library SMS attachments. What is that? I'm just going to click on something unless you tell me what it is. So you put a link in here, didn't even say what it is. Okay, I'm reading more stuff on this Chad car. Are you a troll, Chad car? What's going on with you? Hoppy hiker, look at what's coming down the Mississippi. What is coming down the Mississippi? Okay, Chad Carr, I'm going to take issue with that. We don't have the moral high ground. You think a country that wipes out 30,000 of its own citizens who are protesting against them has the moral high ground? You think a country that's enriching uranium to 60% and exporting terrorism all over the world has the moral high ground? You think, do you understand ISLAM and what it really means? Obviously not. Pull your head out of your rear end, wipe the yin yang out of your eyeballs, and look around. Yeah, I'm talking to you because you got your eyeballs full of you know what. You know why? Because you listen to too much media. That's what you hear all the time. I'm not saying Trump, I never said Trump's great and wonderful, but by golly, he's doing some stuff that nobody else had the cojones to do. So there you go. Iran's got the moral high ground, really, and they're going to win because they got the moral high ground. Yeah, right. They might win in some way if we back off. I've talked about how I thought the war would end over a month ago when I said they'll probably beat them down and they'll still survive and they'll come back up out of the rubble and come back bigger and worse than ever because I was worried about how our midterms would affect us and we might be pulling out early because of that. I did not support the idea going into this to start with because I felt like China was our biggest existential threat and would be going through our munitions. I never felt like Iran had any kind of moral high ground. But now that we're in it, we ought to win it. We've committed to it. We should finish the job because you'll never get another chance like we're getting right now. And I think the best way to do it, this whole thing with the Strait of Hormuz could in and of itself be the answer. And if you're not buying all that stuff, then get the hell off my channel. Be gone. You can unsubscribe. I don't care. If you got your head up your yin yang that far, I don't give a rat's a. There you go. Tell you what I think. Now you're free to come here and disagree. I do believe in freedom of speech. But if you harp on it endlessly, we're going to take you out. So far, I haven't seen you be disrespectful, so you still got a free card. So everybody treats the administrated, but there's no better option with the other side either. That's right, Lady Kicker, Lady Kickboxer. That's my point. Tell you what you want from a channel. Take what you want from a channel and leave the rest. All right. Oh my God, Chad, you got a severe case here. How do you know, Chad? How do you know? I had a bone spur issue for myself because I used to run a lot. Oh, so he started cussing? Then take him out, or at least hide any comments from cursing. We don't come in here cussing. Let's all repent. Now, China's our biggest. China plans to wipe us out. China, I've covered this on several videos. China has bio warfare program. They intend to eliminate you, every one of us, if they can get away with it. That is their plan, apparently. Their defense minister has allegedly said it in a secret speech that got leaked. Now, you may not believe that, but if you look at all the breadcrumbs of what they're doing in their programs, it smells just like what he was alleged to have said. China is a huge existential threat to your existence. And if you better go back and look at my videos on that matter. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I never say things are going to happen because I do believe in hope. I believe in the power of prayer. I do believe that there's some things we can avert, but you have to be aware of what the threats are. And there's a lot of YouTube channels out there right now that are talking both sides of the story. And I'm getting tired of them. A lot of them. But agreed. I was skeptical going into Iran. I was too. Amen. But we'll never get another better chance to deal with it than what we got right now. It was a picture of all the ships heading to the U.S. I didn't know it would show up like that as an address. Oh, okay. Okay. Uh, yeah, you telling us to repent? Look, politicians are politicians. One thing I put out for a long time is trust no man. And I did a video very critical of Trump in his first administration, but I've been critical of Biden and all the other guys too. I think 10 cents of every dollar spent at Walmart goes to their military. Oh, at least, Keith, but you're right. You know, that's the problem. We shouldn't be buying all that junk from China. We need to reshore stuff here because here's the dirty truth. America's won every war in the modern era that's ever won by attrition, by outproducing the enemy. Because at one time we were the world's factory, but we gave that job to China and now they're our biggest adversary. Not smart. Not smart at all. But you can thank all your globalist friends with the big corporations for outsourcing their stuff to China will then get it built cheaper, like Apple, which is the darling of all the leftists. Apple, Apple. And the factories over there have been so bad that Chinese workers, they put a nets around the window so if the Chinese workers jumped out the window to commit suicide, they'd fall on the net and wouldn't die. It's like slavery. It's awful. What's going on over there? So Keith in Arizona, you're right. China and other Eastern countries tend to be patient in their plans. We have to remain vigilant, protecting our interests concerning them. Amen. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. China demands unimpeded navigation at the Strait of Hormuz. Well, China might put pressure on Iran to go back to the negotiating table, maybe to give up their nuclear aspirations. Why is it so important to countries that they're willing to be bombed to smithereens to maintain a nuclear program, which is producing nuclear weapons or can produce nuclear weapons? So there's no point in them reaching to 60%. I don't have many globalist friends, Greg. That's good to hear. Glad to hear that. All right, Chad, what are you saying now? It says the USA won World War II. It lost to China and Korea. Who saved North Korea from save North Korea? So you think North Korea was saved? Okay, you must be a Chinese troll. You think North Korea was safe? Have you ever seen a satellite picture of North Korea? Black. South Korea all lit up. Why? In North Korea, they're dirt poor. That's what communism gives you. You must be a communist troll. If you think North Korea was saved, you got a problem. You got a problem. Either you don't understand communism, you don't understand economics, you don't understand how things are going wrong. Maybe you're an American student who's got his head stuck in the universities and been brainwashed, or maybe the news has brainwashed you, or you're a Chinese troll. I don't know which, but you got a problem. If you think, now that really blows it to me. You think North Korea was saved? Holy guac and smoke-a-moly. You're against what? North Korea was saving Chinese intervention. North Korea is a vassal state of China. Lord Almighty, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. No, we got a ceasefire going on in the Korean Peninsula right now. You can't say America lost because South Korea is doing very well. So you got your head in some funny places there, Chad. You need to go back and look at some things. Anyway, like you just said, North Korea was saved by China. Dude, you need some help. You need some help, Chad. Sorry about that. You need some help. Anyway, all righty, guys. Hey, anybody's welcome to disagreement as long as you do it respectfully. I'm not requiring people agree with me. There are channels that will ban you immediately as soon as you disagree with the host. I'm not one of those guys. I do believe in freedom of speech, but don't come in my channel cussing. And I apologize that I played that video a little bit too long with Trump, that little Trump made up video. Anyway, so North Korea was saved militarily. Oh, come on. Or maybe China maintained North Korea. Yeah, they survived. If that's what you meant. If that's what you meant, I can see your point. All right. But, they don't have no moral high ground. I'll tell you that. Hey, Justin. Justin Kaiser, good to see you here. I try to be fair. I try to be fair. And like I say, you don't have to agree with me. But, if you start saying things I think is crazy, I might challenge you. But you don't have to agree with me. Okay. All right, Chad. All right, you get a get out of jail free card on that one. But anyway, all righty, guys. So we went through the news. I've gone through the chat room. We've been on here how long? Mama Nature's beginning to yell at me because I had to drink some extra water 13 minutes ago. Oh my gosh, this thing tell me I started 13 minutes ago. Probably because of the reset on this thing. The Zoom still says preparing a live stream. I don't know. So I don't know where we're at. That's an oddball thing. That's crazy. What do you mean I didn't listen to you at all? I just heard you say it was a military thing. And I just said you get out of jail free card. So I was agreeing with you. What's wrong with you? My whole channel warns about it. Oh, you got a channel? You got a channel. Okay. You got a channel. I'm gonna go look at your channel. Chad Carr. Okay. You cover military stuff. I see that. All right. You got 736 videos and about a little over 2,000 subscribers. All right, I'll check it out later. Hey, we got another super chat. Thank you again. Thank you again, Carrie. Appreciate it. All righty. So it's time for our egg count. Time for the egg count, folks. Now I didn't count. I didn't get eggs twice today like I normally do because I went and visited with Carrie and Eddie. They treated me to a wonderful dinner, wonderful host, and took me to see a beautiful canyon, the Chevelon Canyon, which is quite a canyon, guys. So just spent some time with them. Uh, Speaking of which, ding 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 ding. I'm gonna make Eddie and Carrie moderators. Let's see. Boom. So, where's it for here? Add as moderator. Okay, Eddie, Carrie, I know you. You're friends. You've been generous in supporting the channel. You've both been knighted. You've been smurfed. I'm so nervous I'm getting close to the canyon edge. Yeah, I fell down, guys. I slept on a rock right at the, not quite at the canyon edge, but pretty darn close to it. And you can see I got a little scuff mark right here on my, where I hit the ground. There's little lights dying on me. Anyway, so sliding toward the canyon. Yeah. No, America's not ready. No, nobody is really. Look it up. Okay, let's see here. Uh, the Chinese communism and its war doctrine. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. All right, guys. How many eggs I get today? How many eggs? I didn't check them twice because I didn't want to hear later in the afternoon. It's dark when I got back. How many eggs I get today? Thank you, Eddie, and Carrie. Appreciate you both. How many eggs we get today? I'll be more tomorrow if the chickens don't bust them. Sometimes they break them when they're in there too long. Been there. Keep guessing. Well, I've served Army and the National Guard. And I worked for the Army as a civil servant. Then I worked as a contractor for Army stuff. Keep guessing. Yes, socialism is a gateway to communism. Absolutely. Keep guessing. You ain't get it yet. There we go. Brian got it. Brian, Scout. Scout X got it. Brian, just 2 eggs. No Easter eggs today, just 2 eggs. Who's all I got. Now, I may have a bunch tomorrow if they don't bust them all. Just 2. That's the least I got in a long time. But I checked, I checked them early. They probably laid some more. I just didn't get out there. The question is how many out of harvest. That's really what it boils down to. Anyway, it was 2. All right, folks. My husband was an OIF2. Okay, very good. Let's go. Hey, I want to thank everybody for watching. Everybody, including Chad. I want to thank everybody for watching. No, yeah, you're right. No Easter eggs. Already said that. So I've only got 2 eggs. Once again, I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you, Carrie, for the wonderful super chats. Thank you, Carrie and Eddie, for having me over tonight and treating me to a wonderful dinner, great hospitality, and a tour of the Chevelon Canyon. Beautiful place. Alrighty, folks. My Mother Nature screaming at me. My light died. So I'm going to have to call it a night here real fast. So to one and all, a good night, good day wherever you are. Ho, ho, ho.